and we will get started. All right. Who wants to share some good news?
I was
I'll
going to
share
share
some
with
good.
him. Oh, go
Okay,
ahead,
go ahead,
Jan.
Sharon. Well, I just want to say Bill challenged me that we are doing a 66-day challenge. And by the way, Bill, how are you doing on yours? But I am.
I think that honestly, I am, part of being a leader is setting a good example and also being vulnerable. I'm not doing so well in my 66-day challenge, to be honest.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, and I would like to help you with that if
Oh
I
my
can,
gosh.
because
Jan, I love you more and more every day.
I feel much better. I didn't make a big challenge. I just made a small challenge to get up and move. Normally I do 1,500 steps, and I'm trying to do 2,500 steps and just start small. And so far, I've missed a couple of days, but I've made them up on other days. So far, I'm doing good.
Nice job, Jan. Good for you.
Beautiful. And that's not only affecting you physically, it's causing you to be, you've basically told yourself that something is important, and you have adjusted your mindset, then you've adjusted your behavior, and it makes your brain feel really good. And you bring that attitude and that energy to your business day, and to your family, of course.
Well, not only that, but you get up and it's a good start to your day. My goal was to get to my desk at 8 o'clock every day, which I
Mhm.
do very well at. 99% of the time I'm at my desk, but now I need to get up at 5 o'clock so I can get a workout in. And, it's not that I'm not up at 5 o'clock every day, it's just I don't get out of bed. So that was my challenge: get up, get moving, and add an extra 1,000 steps.
Love it.
So anyway,
Great job.
Qantas, what
Thank you
what
for
was
sharing that.
yours?
What is my 66-day challenge?
Oh no, Qantas was going to share with us.
Go ahead, Twantis.
Okay. No, actually, I was just going to share my challenge was really what I'm doing now, which is my one thing. Okay. Because my one thing for me was to change how my schedule has been, you guys, and coming into the office and just letting my lead generation go from 9 a.m. to 12:30 till I go and pick up my son without distractions. And I've been in the office. I originally was invited by Paul as well to come in, and I just wanted to let you guys know, like, the momentum of doing at least like 300 plus dials a day, and already the follow-up feedback relationships that it looks like, even if it's not right now, but that are going to be coming, it's really, I can see such a huge change already. So again, I just wanted to share that for anyone who, when we're trying to block out time so we don't have to get distracted, and knowing that coming in and getting in sometimes an environment that can prevent everybody else and anything else from getting into what we're interfering with, I think it's going to be huge for all of us in our business. So just wanted to share. I'm loving it, and the results are going great already.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. One thing that we experimented with a little while ago, actually, this is probably about 5-6 months ago, and I think it was, COVID was still pretty bad at that time. Not that it's not bad now, but we have loosened a little bit of our protections, I guess, in the office. And we've been allowing about 7 to 8, maybe 9 people in the big training room at once, or up to that number of people. What we had done was, after this meeting, we had left the room open. We've always had from 9 to 11 appointment setting on our calendar, so we're not scheduling any events or classes or anything on top of that. But what we've done is we've allowed, just kind of similar to Bold 100, we've left the room open, the chat is there, people can turn off their videos if they want, and it's just an opportunity for us to lead generate, basically together. You could either do that in the privacy of your own home. If you wanted to, eliminate additional distractions and do it in the office, you're more than welcome to do that. And then at about 10:45 or so each day, we'd get back and we'd have a little kind of debrief, if you will, right? What did you experience today? Did you have any challenges you couldn't overcome? Do we want to work on a script really quick or an objection handler really quick? You get an opportunity to share your numbers, right? Hey, I booked 3 appointments. Hey, I booked 1. Hey, I talked to 25 people, whatever it is. I don't want to necessarily have it mandated, but I want to encourage you guys to set up your day that way. And I'm more than happy. I've been a little guilty just trying to fit in a couple extra appointments here and there, starting to creep into lead generation time. I need some accountability around making sure that doesn't happen. And so I'd like to encourage anyone that wants to join me and protecting that time, big time, that 9 to 11 window, where that is your opportunity to grow your database, grow your business, love on your people. Just really quickly, is there who would be interested in something like that?
I would be interested in something like that, but it seems like there's always a class that starts at 10, So like I'm in Ignite right now that starts at 10 to 12, but there's generally a class or something that's going on. So the 9 to 11 doesn't seem or doesn't feel, and then we always go over, in here to like
Yes,
9 to
and
15.
that's something else I'm working on too. I want to be respectful of not only your time, my time. That's going to not happen quite as frequently. As far as Ignite goes, Ignite is it's a one-shot thing. It's almost done. Kind of grateful for that.
Yeah.
We have been, as a leadership team, we have been pretty aware of, with the exception of the Indies class on Thursdays, there's not much that is planned during that 9 to 11 window. All of the 36-12-3 stuff, that's going to be later in the afternoon. And at some point, you just have to say to yourself, is this a class that is going to help me move my business forward more than making calls, right? Is this something I have to attend live?
So yeah, I totally get that and agree. So my other question is like, Tawanis is like, I'm dialing 300. Where does she get these 300? Like I'm really struggling with the concept of that many,
dials.
I don't mind the dialing, I'll dial, but finding the dials and then being able to check them against the do not call list. I don't have any idea how to do that. So I could use a little guidance there.
Okay.
So,
Tawantis, how are you handling the do not call list right now?
So Bill has an assistant. He's mentioned actually to you guys like a couple of times. Her name is Lou. And so and anytime that I've either sold a property or if I see an abandoned property in an area that I like, I've sent her the address so she can send me actually other skip tracing numbers to follow up with in that neighborhood that's around that. Well, it looks like her list is pretty much, I'm thinking it's already scrubbed because I hadn't had anyone that went off on me at this point yet, but I've asked her at least for 5 different lists. In addition, I have something called Mojo Dialer, and it's a $3, and I pay for expires and for sale by owners. So I get those 3 lists that I'm calling, and the Mojo Dollar allows me to multiply the dialing at this point with the $3 versus 1.
All right, so let me add to a thing or two to that. So we have a service through Productivity Coaching, which is at no charge, called Cole Resource Realty. All you have to do is send me a address, a full address. I will send that to my assistant. After a while, like I think Tawantis just sends it to my assistant now, which is totally fine, and she'll get you the list.
Yes.
I don't, if you want to copy me, you can. At the very beginning, just feel free to send me the address, and we'll get you a list of each search. We can do a total of 1,500 of the closest neighbors. Okay, so for example, like Tawanta said, if you have an open house that you're hosting, you can call the 1,500 people closest to that address, or you just took a listing or something like that. It is my understanding that that is not scrubbed against the do not call list. That is not scrubbed against the do not call list. However, there's a lot of gray area there. Like if you're calling somebody, and Kathy, maybe you can chime in on this. Like if you're calling somebody and you're inviting them to an open house, I don't really think that's a solicitation. Do you agree with that, Kathy?
I do. And I'll tell you, I accidentally called somebody the other day, well, yesterday, who, when I looked back, one of his numbers was on the do not call list. And, but he was, I'm calling looking for a buyer in a certain area. I mean, looking for a seller for my buyer in a certain area. And he was so nice to me. I mean, I've gotten 2 people who have told me, yeah, I want to sell next year. And that, please, one said, I want you to sell my house. And the other said, please contact me. And I said, how about once a month? And he said, that'll be fine. And then I looked, and I was in the office. I was distracted. I looked back, and one of his numbers, but it wasn't his home number. It was his cell phone number that was on the do not call list. So
I don't, gosh, this is a tough one. If you're keeping really good records of what you do each day, right? Today I called this group of people and this is the script I used. And the script basically says, would you like to come to the open house?
yeah,
Some free cookies. I could make a decent argument I could make a very good argument that that's not soliciting.
and I felt like I'm not looking to list his house. I'm looking to sell his house. So, and then he said, I could contact him. So I look at
Well,
that as
so
a
for
little
now,
gray area.
if he gave you permission, that conversation is over. That's all.
Yeah.
But the original call, if I'm calling to invite somebody to an open house or let them know that there's a new listing, I don't think that's soliciting.
How do you, like, I don't have any open houses. I don't have any listings. How do you parlay? I'm telling you about a listing in your neighborhood that might belong to someone else. How do you parlay that beyond, hey, there's a listing in your neighborhood?
So well, first of all, you could get permission from an agent who does have a listing in the neighborhood, right? So we list, 70 homes a month or something in the office, maybe more. You could go in and search for properties that have been listed and call and say, hey, I'd like to do some circled prospecting around your listing. Would that be okay? Any agent with half a brain would say yes, right? And then you just say, hey, our office listed a property nearby today. I just wanted to call you and let you know about it, right?
What if it's not an office listing, but it's in an area that you like?
You mean it's like a different company's listing?
Yes.
I think if you called them and said, hey, I'd like to do some circle prospecting around your listing, they would probably agree. And you just call in saying, hey, we have a new listing. We're going to be doing an open house. Wanted to know if you'd like to come. Ideally, it's going to be somebody in the Georgia Legacy Group or Roswell.
Yeah.
But in the situation where it's not, then honestly, I think I'd probably find a different area for the time being and just watch that neighborhood. Now, one thing that one other thing that Tawanta's mentioned is she's paying for data for sale by owners and expired listings. The data is not that expensive. I think it's like $50 or $60 a month. However, we do get Vulcan 7 for free in here too. So everyone has the username and password for Vulcan 7. And you can easily download that information from that website and upload it into a dialer system like Mojo and not have to pay for that data. So,
Bill, what type of data can we get from Vulcan 7?
It's for sale by owners, expired listings, and withdrawn listings.
Oh,
Okay.
Can you give us more information on that? I mean, I know you've mentioned it and talked about it. Is there like a place that we have in the drive that would have that information kind of?
So you can go to, this is the website, vulcan7.com. This is the username. That is the password. There's a lot of like tutorial videos and whatnot on their website. I'm not totally fluent with the software myself. We just purchased it for the office, or for the productivity coaching group, in an effort to give you more resources and more data. So
you can watch videos on YouTube also.
yeah, and there's like Facebook user groups, best practices. Obviously the scripts that you could use for any of that stuff is in the drive. So you can make a habit of going in there and taking off the FSBOs every day, and popping them into Mojo, or popping them in, just dialing them, right?
What is Mojo? I don't know what that is.
So this is the website for Mojo. This is not something that the office is paying for right now. Mojosells.com. It's a dialer system basically. So you would upload a list of names and numbers, and you could do it's instead of having to hit the 7 digits or 10 digits every time, it's automatic. So it links it through a spreadsheet. So it dials, and as soon as you hit end the call, it dials the next one, and they even have a triple line dialer where it's dialing 3 numbers at once. That's how Tawantis is getting so many dials. And then when it picks up, you have the conversation, and if it picks up and then the next one picks right up, it's like, hello, I'll call you right back. I think we have a bad connection, right? And you can drop voicemails. It just increases your efficiency. So that's mojosells.com. There's a few other dialers out there. They tend to be a little bit more expensive. This one's the one that I've found to be the most user-friendly. Okay.
You can also take notes in it too, Bill. You can take notes on each call. You can set appointments. You can set reminders, tasks to call back. So it's actually really, really good at keeping everything organized. I really like it.
And what Heather and I have done is we've almost used it as like a pre-database. So it's like it's like the people whose relationship isn't like that great yet, it's still considered a lead, right? We're following up, making calls, that kind of stuff. And it's just organized within Mojo. And as soon as we get, a good feeling like we're going to meet with them, obviously, then we can drop them into command. So it's almost can function as like a pre-database. Make sense? And you can identify that you can save the list, like FSBOs on 11/11, FSBOs 11/12, FSBOs 11/13, that kind of thing. Okay.
Yeah.
And you can hit the Zillow button too and see the house that you're calling right there in the same. Well, it'll open in a new window, but you don't have to go to another window to search the house. You can see it right there in the app.
Yeah. Andrew, did you want to add something?
Yeah. So Tawantis, Rose, and Paul and I are all in the office. Well, they're not here right now, but they're usually here right now. But we're all 4 doing it at the same time. So we all 4 have the Mojo program, and it's just constantly calling. And I started it yesterday. I mean, it's pretty intimidating at first because it is constantly calling, but over time you get really good at it. And it, beyond just
over time, he's been doing it one day. See,
yeah, I've been doing it for one day.
Quick learner.
So, and it just calls a lot of people, and most of the people, they might like hang up on you or something, but after you call a lot, you'll eventually get somebody. But say within, I don't know, like an hour, you might have somebody that wants to buy or sell a house in like January or February or something, or sell their house or whatever.
Yeah, or has a question, and
it's a really great tool.
Yeah. Right. It's all about the at-bats. It's all about the at-bats. And that's why we've been talking about context so much is, let's say every time that you go on an appointment, you're going to get better. Okay, let's assume that that's the case. Every time that you go on an appointment, you're going to get better. Now the question becomes, well, how fast are you going to go on these appointments, right? Are you going to go on 1 appointment a month? Or are you going to go on 1 appointment a week? Are you going to go on 1 appointment a day? Like if we know that every time you go on an appointment, you get better, why not just, cram a bunch of appointments into a small amount of time so you can get good and get happy and confident, and then go out and take more opportunities? That makes sense? Okay, let's I know today our goal was to talk about how to cap in 6 months or how to make 100 grand. So I want to remind you about the simple program that we decided that was going to get us there. Okay. So remember, if you at an average sales price, okay, which I've actually been quite a bit conservative. An average sales price in Roswell right now is about 400 grand, a little over 400 grand. When I did this math, I used 350 because I know we have a lot of people in the group that, work in the investment world, and those generally aren't as high priced, right? So I said 350. If all of your actions, whatever you do when you're quote working, allows you to set 4 appointments a month, one a week. You go on 3 of them. You take 2 of them, you will close 1 of them. Okay, those numbers are relatively conservative. Set 4, hold 3, take 2, close 1. You do that, you will cap 6 months minimum. Okay, and then for the rest of the 6 months, you'll be at 100%. Okay.
So Bill,
Go ahead.
and that's per month, right?
Setting 4 a month, holding 3 a month. Yes, exactly.
Okay, gotcha. So that's basically listing 12 homes or 12 buyers.
That would technically be having 24 people to a month that agree to work with you exclusively, and you closing half of them, which again is relatively conservative. So you'd have 12 visits to the closing table. You'd have 24 unique people that agree to work with you exclusively, that would hire you to go out and help them buy or help them sell. But as we know, not every home that is listed is going to sell, although it's starting to seem that way. And we know that some buyers may, may not close when you expect them to close. There may be some type of delay, or they change their mind, or something changes in their financial world, or their family world, or something like that. So I would venture to say that if you're taking 2 unique pieces of business a month, you should easily be making 100 grand or more. Okay. By the way, that's a gross of over 120. So that even allows you to pay all the fees too. Okay. So then the question becomes is, what I call work, whatever I do on a daily basis, the question you should be asking yourself is, if I do enough of this, will I end up with my 3 appointments that I'm going to go on per month, right? I am a big education guy, but if you allow yourself, you will become a very, very smart agent with no clients. Okay. And that is, that has its drawbacks, right? You could know everything there is to know about command. You could know everything about every single property and neighborhood and HOA and school district, etc. If you've got no one to share it with, you're never going to get paid, right?
It's the best thing and worst thing about Keller Williams is because we can learn anything and everything we want to know here. I mean, you couldn't ask for more, but if you don't put it into practice, I didn't for a long time, and I went through a ton of classes. I got educated, but it was well over a year before I had my first closing, and it was tough, but I finally figured that part out. And once I started working instead of learning, or learning while I was working, it was way more productive and made more money.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. I completely agree. And the thing is, it's like, let's say if you got let's say you were about to interview somebody and they got a degree in computer science 25 years ago. You're like, damn, there wasn't even an internet 25 years ago. Like, what do you know now? Right? Like, what you learn may not be. I was actually looking over some old materials last night in preparation for the disc class today. And there's some old stuff out there, right? There, nobody was using Facebook ads. Nobody was using, artificial intelligence and smart plans and these kind of things, right? There'll always be stuff to learn, but you got to go out there and meet people. There's no way around that. You got to go meet people. So what we said with respect to, well, how do we make certain that we're going to end up with those 4 set appointments, right? By the way, if I went to any of you guys and I said, I got a job for you, all you got to do is set 1 appointment a week and I'll pay you over 100 grand. There's not a single person in this room that wouldn't jump for joy at that opportunity. Is that a realistic statement?
Yes.
Okay. Even the high producers would jump at that.
Yes.
Right. Well, guys, that's the job you have. This is you should be excited. You already got your license. You're already with the broker. Just got to go to work. Okay. What we said is that if you have 11 daily contacts, that should be enough to generate that 1 appointment set. Okay. So we've also talked about, well, how do I know whether I'm working? Right? So do we have a list of the things that as a business professional, we do each and every day? Do we have a list of the things that as a business professional, we do each and every week, right? There's a document in, I'll go ahead and post it here. It's under, it's called PC Activity Ideas. And it's not, there's one thing that's missing out of here. I'll post it on the announcements page. This is back when we were doing one-on-ones each month, but a daily commitment, for example, would be happy birthday to all of our contacts on LinkedIn and Facebook. Congratulations message to all the contacts on LinkedIn and Facebook. 5 daily likes, 5 daily direct messages, 5 daily comments, time block lead gen, time block maintenance, which is basically follow-up, right? What do I have to do to maintain this business? How many people did I add to my database and tracking my numbers? So I do that every day. So you have a little daily checklist in front of you, like the daily success list, where it's kind of your daily journal, right? What is, if I had to prove to somebody that I was working today, if I had a boss that I had to report to at the end of the day that said, hey, just share with me what you did today, right? You'd be like, oh, this is what I did today. I've been working all day, man. But there's some of us, not anyone in particular, but there are certainly people who, if I followed you around all day, I would have no idea you were a real estate agent. Right? You didn't look at any homes, you didn't talk to anyone about real estate, you didn't learn anything. I'm not trying to be in your face here, but the question is could you prove to me that you're in the real estate business? Right? It should be incredibly obvious that you're in real estate, right? Based on what your calendar looks like, right? What do we do each week? We set goals, we track our numbers, we record our actual goals and results. Maybe we host an open house, we hold an appointment, right? We update our 411. Maybe we have one evening lead generation slot. You keep having trouble finding people during the day. If you got a teacher in your database, they're not going to answer the phone during the day. If you got a surgeon in your database, they're not going to answer the phone during the day. You got to get them after hours, right? Did you schedule a Zoom coffee with a business professional? Have you practiced writing a contract? Okay. We're going to start to do a little bit more workshop-y things in here that are kind of hands-on contract work, writing contracts, right? That way, Saturday night, when you got your first one and it seems like a surprise to you, which is a whole different discussion, you're going to be prepared. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, let's wrap this up. Today at 1 o'clock, we will be recording this. We will be recording this so you can go back and watch it later if you need to, but we're going to be doing a class on the DISC personality assessment. Okay, if you, I believe it's part of the onboarding process that you should have gotten a DISC assessment through Lucy or with Lucy through a company called Abelson, Abelson, when you came on board. If you cannot find that, please send me a message today and we will get a link sent to you so that you can have that assessment taken. Okay. Today, I mean, we could literally have an all-day session on this. Today, we're just going to introduce a lot of concepts to you and give you some guides so that you better understand what you are and how to recognize certain behavioral patterns in others. Okay. So that's from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock today. All right. All right, you guys. Today was really helpful. So Greta, I know we threw a lot of stuff at you today with the passwords and usernames and all that. If you have some additional questions, feel free to reach out to the help board or myself, and we'll get all the information that you need. If you have anyone has an address that they'd like, it's kind of a radius search. So if give me this address, and I'll send you the 1,500 people that live closest to that address. Okay, send you as many as you want, all free. All right.
Perfect. Thanks. Got it.
All right, y'all. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Have a
Bill.
great day.